Welcome to episode 40 of 100 Songs. Today we're talking about Fantomas and the song The Godfather off of the director's cut from 2001. After the breakup of Faith No More in 1998, Mike Patton formed a supergroup of sorts consisting of him on vocals, Buzz Osborne of the Melvins on guitar, Dave Lombardo from Slayer and other bands on drums, and Trevor Dunn on bass. Uh, Definitely an original band for sure. Very conventional, very experimental, kind of creepy for some reason, and but also fun at the same time, if that even makes sense. So, if you're a fan of Mike Patton, you'll know that got a lot of side projects and a lot of different things that he's done. They've been collaborations, they've been solo works, and there's a lot out there to look at or listen to rather. And not all of it would be what I would consider to be very accessible for music lovers. So that's kind of where it kind of depends on where you fall in terms of what your tolerance level is for what would be considered regular music versus sound or things that would never really make sense, for instance on the radio. Fantomas falls kind of in the middle to me. Not super accessible in the sense that it's not your regular band, not your regular kind of music that you see that lineup and you think, "Wow, this is gonna be, this is gonna be a great album, great record, or whatever." And then when you hear it, or even before you hear it, if you look at the liner notes or you look at the track listing, for instance, their debut album, and you see that it's a whole bunch of songs. Some of them are 9 seconds. Most of them are a minute and 20 seconds. Maybe some are 3 minutes tops. Then you're kind of like, huh, what's going on here? And come to find out, these songs lack traditional song structure. They don't have a verse followed by a chorus or a hook or things that you expect in a song, really. What you get with Fantomas is, well, first of all, each of their releases are kind of different. I think this is by design. So the first one, you've got excerpts of music, and some of it is kind of noisy, and then there's a lot of like bursts. It's kind of like it's got a metal edge to it, because if you look at like Buzz Osborne's guitar, Dave Lombardo's drumming, you're thinking this is going to be heavy because from the respective bands they come from. And what you get is Mike Patton in true Mike Patton fashion, not the Faith No More Mike Patton, who's the most accessible version of him and his vocals. But you get a lot of noises, you get a lot of screeching, screaming, weird. I had a friend a long time ago, and we were both Faith No More fans, and he had a lot. He couldn't get into Mike Patton's other noisier stuff because he called it bathtub music, because it sounded like he would be like screaming underwater or making bubble sounds or just weird shit. And I found that to be kind of like, the confusion of it all to him, is how I imagine some people would feel about it. But there are bursts of metal, really fast beats and fills, and timed kind of together. So you would have like a Mike Patton shouting, making noise, and then the guitar would be like at the same time, and then the drums would stop on a dime. The that kind of rapid fire, kind of jarring sound. I like that kind of stuff a lot. I thought it was it kind of made, when I first heard it, it kind of made me like sit up on my seat a little bit. It's like, oh shit, what's going on here? I thought it was really cool. And then some of it is kind of slower, a little bit of like the creepiness I talked about before. Some of that stuff's creepy because of the sounds that Mike Patton makes, are otherworldly at times. You're wondering how a person can make those kinds of sounds. I think Mike Patton is regarded as one of the most talented singers in rock, for sure. And a lot of it's because, from a traditional sense, he's got a extremely versatile voice that can reach all kinds of different levels. But then at the same time, he also makes noises and things that you've never heard before. I always got into him because, even in, originally I discovered him through Faith No More, like everybody else. And I kind of like a good scream or a yell, and he has some pretty epic ones, particularly when he performs live, regardless of under what band or whatever. So I've always paid attention to whatever Mike Patton's doing for kind of that reason. Anyway, Director's Cut was their second release, and it is a bunch of covers, refactors or re covers of songs. So they're redone essentially. And one song in particular that did not make it on the album, that was recorded and intended to be on the album, was Flashdance, What a Feeling, which there's some legal issues, I guess, so that did not appear. But it's a good collection. This one, I think, is a little more accessible than maybe all of their other releases. They had a release following this one. I think it was right after this one. That's essentially one giant long track that kind of goes all over the place. And then they've had another one after that. And there hasn't been anything in a while. I don't think there's been anything in a while. I can't remember when their last one is. That would have been good to know going into this video, I guess. But I really was focused on Director's Cut and the Godfather. So we'll play an excerpt of the Godfather. The beginning is the tune or the melody or whatever you hear in the movie. Super recognizable if you've watched The Godfather. And then what follows is pretty great, kind of metal bit of music there. So I really like this one. I think it's my favorite on the album. I would say it's my favorite, I think. But let's take a listen. All right, this picks up right after that recognizable piece. It goes right into the meat of it. Here we go. So basically, I just played my favorite part of the song because that's the kind of thing that I like. Super recognizable in a couple of ways. You can tell right away that's Mike Patton when you hear that. The drums are very Dave Lombardo-esque. So the killer double bass and the fills that he does in that are classic Dave Lombardo. It just kicks ass. I like it a lot. And then the remaining minute or so of the song gets into that kind of slower, and then it picks back up a little bit, not breakneck like the part we just heard, but it gets into like a bigger. It's kind of epic sounding. I guess I just ruined it with my dumb impression of it or whatever. I also like the Omen on here. Maybe biased because I love the movie, The Omen. A lot of good stuff. Is super interesting. This is definitely my favorite release of theirs. And Fantomas is named after an anti-hero in a French crime novel. I believe it's a series. And that's what the name comes from. There is a Millennium Monster Work 2000, it's called, by the Fantomas Melvin's Big Band that came out, I don't know, 20 years ago or so. I think it was 2002. And when that came out, I immediately bought it on DVD. And I think I have the... did I buy it on DVD or did I just get the CD? Jesus, I don't remember. It's great, though. I'll say that much. It's basically not just Fantomas, but it's as the Melvins with the full Melvins, kind of, and Fantomas, and they cover some straight up Melvin songs, and then they do a lot of Fantomas songs. It's really cool. Being a big fan of the Melvins and Mike Patton, and liking this band and Dave Lombardo, Dale Crover and Dave Lombardo together, both drumming. Mike Patton's kind of leading the whole thing. Buzz is sort of there in the background, kicking ass. It's great, and you can check it out. I think you can find it on YouTube. There's also a New Year's Eve show that's a lot of fun too, that is on YouTube as well. That was recorded at the Great American Music Hall, which is a venue that I'm very fond of, have a lot of memories of. I've talked about it here quite a bit, and I don't know what I was thinking, like missing that. I don't know how I would miss that. It was on New Year's Eve, so maybe I thought I had something better to do, but I'm pretty sure I didn't. So I don't know what I was thinking missing that. I see stuff like that, and then I'm like, what? Why wouldn't I have gone to that? Of course, I can't remember. It was a really long time ago. But should have gone. Should have gone. Oh, what are you going to do? All right, let's go to the wheel and see what we've got in store for us next. Okay, I'm excited about this one. Love the song Put a Spell on You by the mighty Creedence Clearwater Revival off of their self-titled album from 1968. So we're going to get into that and all of its greatness, talk a little bit about Creedence, and that incredible song. Thanks.